Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Esoterica. On this week's episode, we're going to be taking a look at Dracula Unleashed, released in 1993 for the Sega CD, DOS, and PC. But before we get into the episode too much, if you could just do me a huge favor, go down below and hit like and subscribe and ring that bell, definitely helps me out. So Dracula Unleashed was one of the original FMV games that came out for the Sega CD, along in that same time period where we got things like Sewer Shark. But this game holds up a little bit better than that does today, and when it actually came out, it was much better reviewed than something like Sewer Shark. I think I got this for my birthday, or for Christmas when I was a kid, because I was definitely a huge Sega CD fan, and it holds up relatively well. I mean, it's not the best game anymore, but it's still definitely playable. Basically, the backstory is you play as Alexander Morris, Quincy Morris's brother, and he's come to London after his brother's death to investigate what happened. I'd say as far as the FMV quality is concerned, the acting is decent. It's kind of like a community theater vibe. There's definitely not too much hokey acting, but you're not going to be winning any Academy Awards for the performances, and I really don't think any of these actors went on to do much more after this. I didn't research it too well, but they kind of look like they could be extras on Downton Abbey or something sort of similar to that. As far as the gameplay is concerned, it is very basic, just a point-and-click adventure game where you kind of have to use clues that are taken from the dialogue portions of the video to kind of understand what you need to do moving forward. So it's not a lot of gameplay, but the video quality is decent enough for the Sega CD that you're definitely going to enjoy it. You get some good colors, some good effects. Some of the vampires are a little bit hokey looking, and the acting definitely has some melodrama to it that makes you feel like you're watching a Victorian-era soap opera, if such a thing existed. But generally, I think it is really good. Although this animation right here, not animation, video, this is ridiculous. It's hilarious, although that guy's beard is absolutely epic, so definitely high marks for that. So if you do want to play this, apparently, and I didn't know this, it came out on DVD in 2002. They actually remastered all the video to be DVD quality, and you're able to play the game just like you would navigate a DVD menu. Apparently there's some small portions removed, like some of the dialogue audio in the coach right here, but otherwise, if you do want to play this game, I would definitely try to check out that DVD version. I'd actually like to find it myself. I looked on eBay, and it is for sale. It's not even that much money, so it's definitely something that would be interesting to play for sure. Graphically, I do like all the backgrounds. They're kind of pixelated, but they use really good scale and perspective, and you get these little like woodblock prints in between. Here you're meeting your fiancée Annette, and her father died. Although weirdly, you found out that her father died the previous night, and you go home and sleep and only go to see her in the morning. So I'm going to say Alexander Morris is getting low points for being kind of a sympathetic partner, although maybe in Victorian era times it would have been rude to go over. And you can definitely still see that guy breathing. Not a great actor playing dead, but that makeup looks absolutely incredible. It's like somebody came through with some light kabuki makeup and just pancaked the hell out of him, turning him into a completely white corpse. Now, I haven't seen a lot of corpses, as in zero, but I don't think they're going to look like that. So generally the navigation of the game is you're going to be getting different addresses. Some are already in your journal, and some you're going to add as you continue to play along the game. And you have to go to the right scene at the right time to be able to interact with characters that you need to talk to at that moment in time. So you definitely have to listen to all the conversations and kind of get some notes and get a better sense of where it is that you need to go. We're going to the telegraph office now, and we're going to send a telegraph, and that was kind of shown in the game, something we needed to do. So there is some light puzzle elements to it, just in the way that you actually have to be perceptive over what people are saying and what you need to do next. What I'm going to let you do is I'm going to let you watch a little bit more of the gameplay so you can hear some of that acting and get a little bit more dialogue, and I'll come back in a little bit and talk a little bit more about Dracula Unleashed.
And a good day to you, sir.
That paper's not for the weak-hearted today, those who loses their heads easily. Right, messy it is. That fella with his head cut off and all, his blood gone. Ugh. Oh, he needs a drink. It's still a saucy jack when this day's over.
Saucy Jack?
Haven't you heard of it, Gov? The best pub in the Strand. Me mouth is watering already for a mug of Rebecca's ale.
Arthur is busy just now. I'm sure he'll be with you in a moment.
Yes, he was my carriage driver. I had sent him to deliver this package and was beginning to wonder about his late return.
Well, where was this package bound, sir?
To the residence of Mr. Jonathan Harker. Let's 56, Rochester, Marble Arch. It was a gift for his son, young Quincy.
Well, thank you so much, sir. Well, I suppose this belongs to you, then. We found it by the body. Decapitation is a most horrible crime. Strange. There's no accounting for the blood loss.
I love Alexander Morris's reaction here. He thinks it's strange, too, that someone was decapitated, yet there was no blood anywhere. Although the cop seems to be only slightly bothered by that. I would think that maybe they'd think twice if they found a body with no head and no blood. But hey, I mean, apparently the police order was not that smart in Victorian times. And of course, you get your classic era London pub scene where you're going to get a little bit more information from the barkeep. They always seem to have information about what's going on that nobody else does. The interesting thing about these FMV games is that playing them today, it's really easy to kind of tear them apart because it's not a type of game that we play anymore whatsoever. You have stuff like Until Dawn, which definitely has that movie vibe to it, but you get full control over the characters, and everything's presented in a much better way. But I really don't want to tear this game apart because when it actually came out, the production values, the video quality, the framing, everything like that, you can definitely tell that whoever made this game was interested in the subject matter and wanted to make it look as good as possible. You know, the actors are trying, the lines are hokey, and the writing's not great, but they're doing the best they can with the material they're given. And in 1993, this game was actually reviewed really well. It got like 7.5 to 8.5s across pretty much every magazine that reviewed it. So people were impressed when this came out. Obviously, in 1993, if your console was playing any sort of video, you were definitely impressed by that. I had Sewer Shark on the Sega CD. I played that game as an adult. It's absolutely terrible. But when I was a kid in 93, I thought that was the most incredible thing I had ever seen before. So if you actually take these games and kind of transport your mindset back to when they came out, they become much more impressive. So when you play them today, you kind of do have to just take that little bit of nostalgia and put it back in your mind and think, how was this game when you played it? I'm going to let you listen to this dialogue here. It's really important. I'll come back and close out the video on Dracula Unleashed.
I understand your partner's also a member?
Oh, yes, Devlin mentioned you. It will be a pleasure having you in our club. What brings you to my little bookstore?
Well, this might sound a little bit strange, but I've been told you have a book about the Bloofer lady.
The Bloofer lady? Well, as a matter of fact, I do. She would appear as a beautiful ghost-like woman with a horrible practice, and she would summon children only to return them later, some on the verge of death. The children would call her Bloofer instead of Beautiful. Yes, bears a striking resemblance to some other cases I know of.
How much do I owe you?
A gift from one Lord of Hell to another.
From the library of Dr. John Seward, Perfleet Asylum.
While Alexander Morris is not having a good week, he arrives in London because his brother's dead, his fiance's father has died, and he's now on the hunt of a murder mystery. He has a decapitated stagecoach driver to deal with, and Dracula may or may not be harvesting victims in London. So his week is definitely not one for the books. I do love how 90s this game feels, though. Those gigantic hairstyles, the grainy FMV video. This game is definitely something of a time and place where these games were the hot new thing. I mean, you had games like Night Trap that were so controversial that they made the news and even had congressional hearings because it was interesting to go from 16-bit sprites to full motion video that actually had real people doing real things. And that's the interesting part of these sort of games, is that suddenly you went from cartoonish graphics to real-world scenes, elements, and people. And I'm not really sure how we all kind of, handled that. It was definitely impressive to see, but suddenly the real world was brought into video games that used to just be the domain of things like Mario or Sonic, where you had these fun, colorful characters and sprites. You do definitely get some 2D elements in this game, and the artwork on them is a little shaky. You can definitely see what's going on, but the resolution of the Sega CD combined with maybe not great artwork makes those look a little bit hokey, but I definitely still enjoy them. So what you do is just listen to a little bit more of the scenes, and I'm going to come back in about a minute and close out the video on Dracula Unleashed, but enjoy the dialogue.
Mr. Alexander Morris, the evil awakens. Beware the night. Nothing is safe. If you respect your dead brother's memory, send me your findings. Quincy's friends can verify my claims. Father Janos Korczeni.
So there's Dracula Unleashed in a nutshell. Granted, there's a lot more gameplay past this, but I just want to give you guys a little bit of a tease of what's going on in this game. Would I recommend you pick this game up and play it? Maybe. If you're into FMV or you want to see what was going on in the 90s, definitely check it out. If this doesn't seem too interesting to you, then I would definitely skip it. Short of that, we'll be back on Friday with another episode in our Technicality series, and we'll be back on Tuesday with another episode about Dracula. Short of that, we hope you guys have a great week. Thanks so much for watching. Do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe button. Otherwise, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.